Samanta Cakkavalesu Atra Gaccantu Devata Saddhammang Munirajassa Sunantu Sagga Mokkadam Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayam Badanta Namo Tansa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tansa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tansa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Sabba Papassa Akaranam Kusalassa Upasampadam Sajinta Pariyodapanam Etang Buddhana Sasanam. Dear Dhamma friends, today we are going to start our weekly Dhamma program, Dhamma discussion. Here I have selected the very special stanza in Buddhism, in Buddha's language in Pali. It says, all Buddha's message. You know, from period to period, there are some Buddhas in the world. They appeared in the world and they discovered this message, they preached this message, and also they passed away. Although the Buddhas are differences, although Buddhas are different, their message is same. Because the world reality is same. Buddha explained, whether a Buddha appears or not in the world, this reality is forever. That is very important. Therefore, their message is same. Because truth is same. Truth doesn't belong to anybody. We respect to the Buddha because he realized and discovered this message by himself, and he preached this message for the world kindly. That is why we respect him. That is why we honored him. Okay, this stanza is very important. I think all of us can recite once or several times. That is important. Sabba papassa karanam kusalassa upasampada sachitta pariyodapanam etang buddhana sasanam. I think some of you have heard this stanza. I think Mr. Devi, have you heard this stanza?
I'm not familiar with it.
Actually, this stanza is very important because all Buddhas who appeared in the world, they have explained this stanza with same words. That is very important. But mostly we can see their message is same. All of Buddha's message is same. When they explain, sometimes their techniques and some words are different. But this stanza verse is very really same for all Buddhas. That is the identity of Buddhism, in Buddhism. However, in this stanza, it says all kind of advices that we have to practice. The Buddha's guidance is here. And when we explain Buddha's message, what is the final goal? What is the bottom line of practicing this message? What is the final goal?
Liberation.
Yeah, final bliss of liberation. Getting rid of suffering from all kind of problems. That is the bottom line. Actually, it is the bottom line of all of our life. And we do some things for the liberation in this life. We do some things in this life in the name of happiness. Getting some education, feeding our children, having some friends and relatives, earning some money or properties. These are the things that we already do in the name of happiness. But this happiness is impermanent. Sometimes they bring us happiness, but that happiness can be changed anytime. Although we have children, they can't live with us in their entire life. They go away from us. Although we have parents, they are growing up, they are going to old age, and they are subject to die. Before we die, we lose our parents. And also, although we have a lot of friends, sometimes they get angry with us. Sometimes they go away from us, they go far away. Sometimes they die. We have to go away from them. Although we have good appearance in our physical body, little by little it is going to old age. Our good appearance is going to in the bad situation. We are going to weaknesses, and gradually we are reaching to the cemetery. Whether we like or not, whether we believe or not, whether we interest or not, that is the reality. In this situation, Buddha explained how do we get rid of suffering and how do we reach to the real happiness which cannot be changed. That is why Buddha explained this message to us. This message is familiar with the final bliss of liberation, the final happiness, the real happiness. For that we have to develop especially two qualities are very important. Those are mindfulness and wisdom. All of Buddha's qualities focus on practicing mindfulness and wisdom. What they are? Mindfulness and wisdom. What is the mindfulness?
Stay with the present moment.
Yeah, mindfulness means awareness. Living with awareness. What about awareness? Awareness with our body and mind. What happens to my body and mind? What are my behavior, my postures, my activities? We do all things with awareness or mindfulness. If we have mindfulness, it means we don't suffer. It means we are not angry. We have not big attachment. We have no delusion if we have mindfulness. If sometimes, if we are angry, if we have big attachment, if we have ignorance, it means we are go away from mindfulness. If we have mindfulness, nobody can disturb our peace of mind. Although some persons blame us, hurt us, disturb us, if we have mindfulness, nobody can disturb our peace of mind because of awareness or mindfulness. If we lost our mindfulness, anybody can change our mind. Anybody can disturb our peace of mind. If somebody can disturb our peace of mind, if some forms, feelings, some sound, if they can disturb our peace of mind, be sure, be honest that you have no real mindfulness at that moment. The success depends on how much we have practiced mindfulness. Not only mindfulness. With mindfulness, with concentrated mind, we have an ability to understand the real nature of the world, which is impermanent. Which is impermanence. If we have mindfulness or awareness about our body and mind, what happens to my life? If we have awareness, and also if we have wisdom or intelligence, what is the wisdom or intelligence that Buddhism says? Seeing impermanence. Seeing the arising and ceasing about our feelings and mind. If we have this understanding, comprehension, it means we are free from suffering. Even though we have no lot of money, even though we have some physical problems as diseases, if we have this full awareness and attention and wisdom or knowledge of impermanence, at that time, at that moment, we have overcome suffering. Even though we are very rich, and even though we are well educated, if we have no mindfulness and knowledge of impermanence, actually we have no real happiness. Because anybody can disturb our peace of mind. And little by little, that is our final goal that we have to reach. Here, this is very important that, when you come to the temple, you may think that if you can meditate for a long time, that is your success. Sometimes it is good. But having a pleasant environment is not only here, but anywhere you can find it. But what is the special thing that you gain from here? The knowledge, what you practice. That is very important. In Buddha's period, a lot of people who ordained in his disciples' society, that they did first that they listening to Buddha's message. They understood what Buddha said. And they were ready to understand Buddha's message from beginning to end. They understood entire path, what they have to practice. After they listening to this message, they went to the jungles or forest. In the middle, they didn't come back. They came back after enlightenment. The reason is, at the very beginning, before they left Buddha, they learned entire path. They understood very well what they had to practice. And from beginning to end, they listening to all paths. We also have to listen to this message very clearly from beginning to end. What we have to practice little by little. We can be late, it doesn't matter. But we may have clear knowledge. What kind of advices, what kind of doctrines or teachings that we have to practice in this pure path, in this liberation, in this path of purification. From beginning to end, we may have clear knowledge. I think you also can remember something that already you know. What should we have to practice in this path?
Meditation.
Yeah, how do we practice meditation? How do we practice meditation?
Observation.
Observation. What about we have to practice observation?
Senses, observing arising and passing away.
Yeah. How do we practice it?
Well, I guess there are different techniques.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can do anapana.
Yes.
Is the basic.
Basic meditation. Yeah. How do we reflect on arising and ceasing when we meditate?
Just any sensation, regardless, it doesn't matter what it is really, but you just observe it arising and then passing away without becoming attached to it. There's no I in any of the sensations.
Yeah, special thing that here we have to understand. You know, there is a world. There are some things here. You may think that before you come, these were here. After you will live here, these things will be remain here. It is true according to conventional truth. All of teachings, rules, regulations, studies depends on this truth. We have to be aware about this truth. But if we want to get rid of suffering from our entire life, and we have to understand another step. What is that? These all things arise or experiences in this moment. When you look at this pen, that experience arises this moment. For example, I get an example always, then this sound. You listening this sound this moment. Before you were listening to this sound, it was not here. After you were listening this sound, it vanished. It ceased. That's the truth. Our own experience also like that. According to ultimate truth. That is the highest truth. This eyes, you know, we mostly think these eyes we gain by our birth. When we were born, we receive these eyes. It is true. It is true. But the I that Buddha says arises this moment. When we have some matter, when we have consciousness, I consciousness and matter, our mind, feelings, and all things are together, we can see a pen. At that moment, these eyes arise this moment. That is the special thing that we have to understand. Not only eyes, but also our ears. According to sound, that ears are in the present moment. Our feelings also like that. All of these arise in this moment with the conditions. With conditions are together, we have some kind of experience in our life. When the conditions go away, the experience ceases. If we have full awareness, full attention, or full mindfulness about this truth, without delay, it means at that moment we have overcome suffering. It doesn't sound we are lazy. It doesn't sound we don't do our duties or responsibilities. It doesn't sound we go away from the society to the jungle. We do our all activities living in this society with the people. But we live in the higher position with higher comprehension. That is difference. That is the final goal. That is the final experience that we have to practice in one day. But that is the final goal. But until that goal, we have to practice little by little some kind of techniques. The first thing that we have to practice according to this instance are Sabba Papa Sakarana. In this path, it is a gradual path. Little by little, it is going to deep. It is going to depth. What is the first step that we have to practice in our day-to-day life? Going away from evil, not to do evil. What are the evils? If we do something with wicked mind, unclear mind, those are the things which are evils. If we can go away from evils, such as big attachment, anger, jealousy, ill will, hatred, delusion, those are the things which disturb our peace of mind. If we can go away from these negative ideas, attitudes, it means we are free from disturbances. That is why at the very beginning, in the first level, little by little, we can do all things at once. Little by little, try to go away. Try to go away from evils. Especially if we have this knowledge before we are going to control our physical body, before discipline of our body, we have a good discipline where? Speech. We have good control, good discipline in our speech. What is the reason? When we think some good qualities, good deeds in our mind, automatically our speech is controlled. We can't speak rubbish or gossips. We save our words. What is the reason? Our words are very heavy, very strong, very valuable. If we talk rubbish, gossips, it means our speech, our words are not valuable. As soon as we have good this awareness, understanding, automatically our speech is disciplined. We have a good control in our speech. Then we are the valuable persons, because we think good ideas, and also we speak. When we speak something, these things are very valuable, very important to this life and hereafter. We tell the truth. We tell the very valuable things which is important for the people. Then our words are very valuable. We respect to Buddha's some kind of teeth, we respect their tooth, Buddha's tooth. Why do we respect to it? Because these words come out from this mouth. And we also are valuable persons if we say something which is very important. For the good speech, we may have good ideas. If we want to develop our good ideas, we should have good vision, good understanding, correct understanding about the world, about our life. Then here, Buddha has explained in this stanza the 3 advices, 3 steps, 3 guidelines, what we have to do. The first step is not to do any evil. Sabba papa sakarana. Physically and verbally, not mentally. First level, we control our activities physically and verbally. Not to do any evil. The second step, we try to our mind little by little, not to come some negative ideas to our mind, such as anger, jealousy, like that. And not to do any evil is the first advice that Buddha explained in the name of real happiness. It means if we haven't done bad deeds in our life, it means we have no mistake. We have nothing to be worried because of no evils. The second step, kusala sauka sampada. Do good. Cultivate good deeds. Why do we do good deeds in our life? What are the good deeds that we do in our day-to-day life? If we respect elders, that is also something that we do. If we do something with pure mind, clear mind in our day-to-day life, physically, verbally and mentally, those are the things that we say good. Those are the meritorious deeds. If we respect the persons who are honored, who are honorable, like our parents, elders, teachers, those are the good deeds. If we can offer something to others, who are the innocent people or respectful persons, giving something to others, donate something to others, those are the things which purifies our mind. And practicing generosity is the first step in this path in meritorious deeds. Why do we have to do these kind of deeds in our life? When we do some good deeds with pure mind, it means we are so happy. No negative ideas disturb our peace of mind. Buddha said, doing meritorious deeds is decorating your mind. You decorate your mind. When you offer something to others, that person also has some kind of benefits, but more benefits are for you. Because when you do something, when you offer something, that person get benefits from that very few moments or few months or few years. But before you offer something, you have been getting ready for a long time for that donation. After you do that activity, you can be happy for a long time. That is why we have to practice good deeds in our life. If we have nothing to remind, nothing to remember as meritorious deeds in our life, what happens to our mind? Our mind gradually goes to the negative ideas. If we have done a lot of deeds in our life as practicing generosity and practicing morality or good discipline and practicing meditation, these are the things which help, which brings happiness to your life. And Buddhism has explained the three meritorious deeds. Practicing generosity or dana, giving something to others, offering, donations, is the first thing. That is the first meritorious deed. The second one that Buddhism says, morality or discipline in your speech and behavior. That is also some kind of meritorious deed. If you have good discipline, you have no mistakes. Nobody can disturb you. Nobody can criticize you because of your good behavior. The next meritorious deed is practicing meditation. When you cultivate your mind, when you practice good ideas in your mind again and again, practicing some kind of meditation techniques, such as breathing meditation, loving kind meditation, there are 40 techniques in Buddhist meditation. according to our characters, according to our knowledge, according to our problems and environments, we can practice some kind of meditation techniques as our interest. That is very important. Gradually, when we practice meditation, when the environment is very complex or troubling, then you can focus your mind with some kind of meritorious deeds, with meditation. Then nobody can disturb your peace of mind. Even though the environment is very complex or boring, if you have mindfulness and this understanding, suddenly you can practice some kind of meditation techniques. That is very important. In this level, still we are describing the second level. The first level is not to do any evil. The second step is practice good, do good, such as practicing generosity, practicing morality, and practicing meditation. These are the three meritorious deeds. Actually, these kind of guidance or advices can be seen in this situation, in this society. It is said not only in Buddhism, but many religions in the world, they have explained these kind of advices, the teachings. But however, as your confidence or faith in some kind of religions, you can practice these kind of meritorious deeds in your life in the name of your success, in the name of your happiness. However, the next step that Buddhism says, Sacitta Paryodapanam. Sacitta Paryodapanam. Purify one's mind. Purify your mind from negative ideas such as desire, anger, delusion. This is the highest level that we have to do in the name of happiness. Before practicing this step, we may have clear knowledge. We may have clear knowledge about the path that we have to practice, what we have to pass. We have to pass when we practice in this level. Especially, before you practice this path, you may have clear knowledge about the impermanence. What is the impermanence? Impermanence is not only changing. All of these things can be destroyed any day, one day. Our body also someday going to this earth after 100 years. Maximally, after 100 years, what happens to our physical body? It is like dust in this earth, whether we like or not, whether we know or not. Not only after 100 years, after 50 years, nobody is in this world physically. That is the nature of our physical body. It is not difficult to understand, but a special thing that we have to understand through this message, the real impermanence. What is the real impermanence that Buddhism explains? When we get some kind of experience through our senses, through our eyes, through our ears, through our nose, through our body, if we get some kind of experience about the world through our senses, that experience arises at the moment and ceases at the moment. There is a very, very special sentence that Buddhism says in Buddha's language in Pali, that we remind it again and again. What is that? Avutva sambhutang hoti hutva nabhavisati. Nothing comes to the present from the past. Nothing goes to the future from the present. What is that? You have to learn by heart this sentence. If you are so fortunate, if you are so lucky having this birth, you believe this is the most important, valuable sentence you have listened in your entire life with the power of your previous merits, whether you believe or not. What is that? Nothing comes to the present from the past. Nothing goes to the future from the present. At the moment, the experience arises. At the moment, that experience ceases. Again and again you have to remember this one. You have to listen it. I believe that when you listening to this message, you have done a lot of merits in your previous lives. That is why you are listening to this message. Yes?
Question. So, I understand that concept. I mean, on an experiential level, I don't experience it all the time. But I understand it, on an intellectual level. But I'm also wondering how we still have to function in our daily lives as though what happened in the past affects. I mean, obviously, there are still effects from the past to the present, and from the present to the future. So,
yes. I have mentioned you before that there are both truths in the world. One of them is conventional truth. According to conventional truth, before you were born in this world, it was a world. After you will die, the world remains. According to conventional truth, it is true. We do all things found in this truth. The second step, that ultimate truth, I have explained as that nothing comes to the present from the past, nothing goes to the future from the present. That is the ultimate truth. This is the real experience of the enlightened person, a full enlightened person. One day, if we become the higher level of supramundane level, as enlightened person, that is our final experience. Up to that, first of all, we have this knowledge. That is the primary thing. Knowledge is the primary thing. Although you have this knowledge, suddenly you can focus to this. First thing is you have to understand this message. That is the first step. It says as knowledge. Knowledge is the first thing. That is the first step. Not only enough knowledge. According to knowledge, we have to reflect on it again and again. Not only you are here, not only when you meditate, but little by little you can increase the period that you think about this reality. It causes you to develop your understanding. First, you should get knowledge. According to knowledge, we have to reflect on it again and again in our day-to-day life. It says in Buddhism, Yoniso Manasikara, or wise reflection. Wise reflection. That is the second step. First thing, you may have to know it. The second thing is, you have to reflect on it again and again. The third one is, what is the third one? By practicing meditation. by practicing meditation, samatha and vipassana, or tranquility meditation and insight meditation, we have to be certain, we have to go to the very strong level with this experience. Then little by little, we develop this knowledge with concentrated mind. Then little by little, we increase the period that we think about this knowledge. First we think, but finally, this experience and our life is same. For example, when you have a map to go to LA, first you look at the map. Then you think about the map. Then you drive according to the map. When you reach to LA, then your knowledge and your experience is same. It means you live in LA according to that knowledge and your effort that you drove. Our experience also like that. First, we listening to this message like having a map. And second, you have to drive with the map or with your navigator. The third one, you reach to the place. Then you and experience is same. It means finally, as soon as you look at something, as soon as we hear something, we know very well this experience arises this moment. Then our life and this experience are same, completely same. It means we live in the present moment. It doesn't sound that you have forgotten your past or future. You have good memory about your past experience, such as about your parents, about your brothers or sisters. You have full memory about your past experience, not only this life past experience, but if we can develop mindfulness in the maximum level, we can remember millions of previous lives living in the present moment, but our mind doesn't count to the past. Our mind live in this present moment, we can focus there. When you have some light, when you focus somewhere, your light doesn't go there. But sitting here, living here, you can force your light anywhere. It doesn't sound that light doesn't go there. It is in your hand. Your memory is like that. When we become the higher level, living in the present moment, we can focus everywhere about past or future. But our mind doesn't run there. If our mind doesn't run there, if our mind runs there, it means we have no mindfulness, we have no awareness, we have no intelligence or impermanence. We live in the present moment with full awareness. We can remember anything. It sounds that we have overcome past and future. We don't get anything as certain in present too. Present moment we also see the impermanence. Everything in this moment also ceasing and arising with the conditions. With conditions are together like this, we have experience. Through our ears, through our eyes, through our nose, through our body, every moment, very fast, quickly we have experience that with the conditions they arise and cease. Mr. David, if you have any question, you can ask again.
No, thank you.
Yeah, first we have knowledge. We have to practice this path. Knowledge is not knowledge is only the first level. With the knowledge, we have to reflect on it, and meditation in this level, I have explained here the Eightfold Path, number 3 page. Eightfold Path is the path like the road. Although you have a map, even though you have a car, if it is not road, you can reach to your destination. This is the path. You have to go on this path. Day by day, little by little, we have to practice these steps. It's like a road. Always we try to be on this way. If we are on this way, it means although we are slow, gradually we are reaching to that destination. If we are go away from this path, it sounds that although we have knowledge, although we have intelligence, we are not on the path.
Okay, so what you're saying is that I think I'm with David in this. Like, it doesn't. This message doesn't seem so clever to me. Like it's something that just makes sense anyway. It's just that the idea of, you know, what the definition of dependent origination is. However, if you steep in it, you know, upon wise reflection and meditative practice for 40 years or something, then maybe you might have this aha moment where it's like, oh, now I get it or something.
Please explain again something.
So on the surface or whatever, conventional wisdom, I guess, when you describe dependent origination, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, of course. And I've seen that my whole life. Of course, you forget it when you get wrapped up in emotions, or you know, something devastating happens, and then you're living a life because of something that happened in the past. You say, oh, if that thing hasn't happened, you know, I'd be happier right now or something, right? But then you reflect on it and you say, okay, yeah, I guess I'm just right here now and this is where I am, and that's the way things are. I just have to accept it, and this is what happened.
Yes, here the Buddha's message, Buddha says that when we practice this message, we can see the results through our life. When we practice this message, some people see the result from outside. But when we practice this message, we can see the results through our life.
You mean of letting things go? Or?
Yeah. You know, for example, when we explain little by little, when we practice first level, not to do evil, when we go away from the evil, we can see the results. We are so safety that nobody can disturb us, nobody can criticize us with the practicing of going away from evil. When we do good deeds, such as practicing generosity, when you think about your good activities in your life, when you think about your life, you can yourself be happy. And especially the third level, the highest level, which is the important level that Buddhism says, when we are going on this path little by little, we also can see some results through our life. What are the results that we can see through our life? The results can be divided especially into 5. Those are the confidence, or saddha, virya effort, sati mindfulness, samadhi concentration, panya wisdom. Little by little we can see our confidence increases about this message. And also our energy, our effort increases gradually to get the result. in this life. And also especially mindfulness, awareness. Awareness gradually increases. We can see our life. When we do something, if our mind goes here and there, it sounds we have no real mindfulness. We have to develop it. Even though when you meditate, if your mind is going to be hidden, be sure that you have no real mindfulness. If we have real mindfulness, anywhere our mind goes, we know very well. We do all things mindfully, not only doing daily activities, but even meditation. Even when we meditate, we know very well, if mind goes anywhere, because of awareness, we know very well where is my mind. And also wisdom, or intelligence, or having experience about impermanence. Little by little, our experience about impermanence growing up. You know, at the very beginning, now in this level, we think about impermanence or cause and effect or dependent origination after experience. For example, when you look at here, when you remind about impermanence, the experience has ceased. We mostly think about our experience at the very beginning about impermanence after experience. But little by little, when we develop it, we try to live in the present moment. Suddenly, our attention, our mindfulness grows, and also we have full awareness as soon as when it arises and ceases. We live in the present moment. We can see the results through our life. And how I say it, that in this pattern, gradually we can see the results. Sometimes we may have doing sitting meditation as practicing concentration meditation for a long time. But living for a long time with the same ideas as practicing concentration meditation is not only the main result that we gain through this message. Developing the concentration only one of the results. With concentrated mind, we have to develop the ability of seeing this impermanence. Then first we think about this after experience. Although we try to live in the present moment, it is difficult in this level. Be sure. Although you have fully awareness, we can't live in the present moment completely in this level. After experience, suddenly because of awareness, we come to the real situation. Because of awareness. Suddenly we try to come to this present moment, but after experience. But day by day, when we practice this message according to our effort and confidence in this message, our mindfulness and wisdom are growing up, little by little. Then finally, we can see the final results. What is that? When we live in the present moment, it sounds that we have no suffering. We mostly suffer because of past or because of the future. If we suffer, be sure that you are living in the past or future. Yes?
Yeah, probably that's true that we live in the past or in the future. But how can I live in the present? Because sometimes, for instance, if
we go to school, we go to school to get education for the future, to get a better life, for something in the future. Or sometimes you have a bad experience from the past, you made a mistake of the past, and you still remember this mistake that you did sometimes 5 years ago.
Yes, very good idea. You know, Buddha says that if we have bad experience in our previous experience, we have only once bad experience. But because of ignorance, we suffer hundreds of times. For example, if you had one mistake, if you have no awareness, you go to the past again and again. You had only one mistake at once. But because of ignorance, because of delusion, we develop some negative ideas in our mind. When you sick physically, if you think your disease again and again, what happens to you? We suffer mentally. We have suffering for few periods, but we suffer mentally for a long time. Sometimes we can be okay. We can recover from the diseases. But if we think again and again, we go to the past and we suffer again and again. In this level, in this Buddha's message, when we practice to understand in this message and when we reflect on this message, we can remember anything in past. It doesn't sound we forget something. We never forget. Buddhism never says that you have to forget. If you forget something, you believe it is a big mistake in your life. It is a big mistake. Buddhism never says that you have to forget. You can remember. For example, if a person has blamed you, as soon as that person sees you, as soon as you look at that person, you can understand. You can think that person has blamed you. But if you have no awareness, no mindfulness, you go to the past and that person has blamed you once. You are blamed many times. Sometimes that person has forgotten it. But because of our ignorance, we go to the past and we are blamed again and again from that person. That is the fault of our life. If we have this awareness, we can remember something in the past experience, but as soon as we remember something in the past, we know very well, now I read my own mind, that is, now I am not going to the past. Now I am reading my own mind in this moment. Because of full awareness, you are living in the present moment and you can focus past. You can focus to the past experience. It is not bad. It is not a fault. It is not the reason of suffering. What is the reason of suffering?
You go to the past and
you
are experiencing presently just like it's happening again and you are suffering on your own.
When we remember something, if our mind goes to the past and if our mind lives in the past experience, that is the cause of suffering. Memory is not the cause of suffering. For example, when a person died, there is a person whose mother that died. Enlightened person can participate his or her own mother's funeral. When he goes to that funeral, his other sisters and brothers, they are crying about their mom. How about that enlightened person? Does he cry? he doesn't cry. What is the reason? Other persons, when they cry, they go to the past experience about her mother feeding. They remember their past experience about their mom. Reminding those things, they are crying. That enlightened person also can remember mother's help. But that person has real understanding. Now I read my mind. Then he knows very well the present experience through his mind. Then he can remember all things without suffering. We also like that. When we develop something, when we develop this message, when we practice this message, we can remember past things. And also, we can do something if we are going to the college. We do some homework, which is due to tomorrow. This night you do some activities, your homework. If some person has no idea, some persons can be that person can remember something which happens tomorrow. That such as his professor is going to blame him. He thinks something else. Sometimes professor doesn't blame him, but still he has been blamed.
Yes, you think you will get.
Yes, we think. Before that experience, you have suffered if you have known this experience. But we can do some activities which due to future. We do very well our future goals. This experience doesn't sound that you don't do your future plans. You do all things which is useful for your future life. And also, if you had mistakes, you can remember it. And if you have chance, you can overcome, you can correct some your mistakes in your life. But we don't suffer with those previous experiences. If we are going to the past, it sounds that we suffer again and again. We develop our suffering. That is the point. One day Buddha explained, when a person hit you, when some person hit you, that person hit you once. But after that person hit you, if you think with no mindfulness, you are hit again and again. That person hit you once. That person has hit you once, but you are hit again and again because of no mindfulness.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I think that ourselves is our big enemy, because sometimes that you say you commit a mistake in the past and we still remember. But sometimes it's hard to forget it, and it's hard not super. I try it. We try.
Yes, you are correct. We also have some kind of exercise.
Probably, well, according to my understanding, probably because I still not have the knowledge that you said at the beginning.
Yes, this is the thing, that first thing is the knowledge. Actually, we also can practice the highest experience. We also sometimes suffer about our past. That is the nature of our life. We also are still on this path. Sometimes we suffer. That is why again and again we have to practice, we have to reflect on it and practice it. Actually, although we have this knowledge, in one day we can reduce all our misunderstanding, because this is the thing that we have practiced for a long time. For a long time we have practiced in the negative way, in the wrong way. When we are going to correct, we have to do with a big effort. It is not easy. I believe we also have some kind of sufferings in our life when we think about our previous experience. But suddenly, if we have mindfulness, we can keep our mind in the correct way. Again and again, we have to try it.
When you say correct, what does mean correct?
Correct way means with the right understanding.
Or I understand.
Yeah, right understanding means the understanding of impermanence. Practicing impermanence is the very highest level thing. That before that, we have to practice some kind of other techniques, such as practicing loving kindness. Although we have some persons who have disturbed our success, when we think about them, the anger comes to our mind. But when we practice loving kindness, again and again, we can overcome some kind of 40 or 50% anger in our life. In the primary level, we think about that person has helped me in this life. Although he has some mistakes, he has done some good deeds in this life for me. Not only that person might be my close friends or relative in previous lives. That person has helped me a lot in previous lives. We think in various ways in the name of overcoming anger. There are many techniques. On the other hand, when we think a person, we mostly think about his physical body. But it is not only physical body. If his mind goes away, what happens to him? It is a dead body, not a person. Then, whom do we hate? Physical body or mind? When we reflect on in various ways, we can reduce our anger. Not only that highest level. Before that highest level, we have to practice in the primary level many techniques. How do we overcome anger? Not only anger, desire, jealousy, there are many defilements in our life. We have many techniques. If we have knowledge, we can practice many things. Especially, we suffer because of anger. Therefore, there are many techniques. How do we overcome anger? We can think about his service for this life. We can think about his relationship in previous lives. And also we can think about his mind and body. When mind and body is together, there is a person. When my mind is go away, actually I can do only even sitting. I can move my hands if I have no mind. But when we think about persons, we never think about his mind. We mostly think only physical body. But physical body has no big effect or something. The main reason whether we live or not is mind. If I have no mind, I can't even sit here. As soon as my mind goes away, my body gradually goes like this. Then if you are angry with me, what happens to your anger when my mind goes away? Actually, our anger also vanishes. It ceases. For example, if you have a person who has disturbed you a lot, when he died, when you go to his funeral, you have no anger with his physical body. When we think in various ways, we can overcome anger. Not only one technique, there are many techniques in Buddhism. How do we think with right understanding? This is the right understanding, right view, right vision. Buddha said, right understanding is like the dawn. Dawn, you know, the sun comes to the world and the sun rises. We can see the world everywhere. The darkness goes away. The right understanding also like that. Through listening this message, when we get knowledge, our right understanding gradually increases. Then we can overcome some kind of defilement such as anger, desire, something.
Once you fully comprehend or get this, you become enlightened. Can you lose it just because it's impermanence? Does it also mean you can also lose it as well?
First level, as I mentioned you, we practice some kind of meditation such as loving kindness. At the first level, we don't focus the final experience such as impermanence. First, we think about like loving kindness, some kind of techniques. And gradually we are going to reflecting on impermanence. We try to practice impermanence. Then again and again when we practice impermanence, that's going to be permanent. That understanding is going to be certain.
So that never goes away once you...
As much as we have practiced, that gradually grows up. But until some kind of steps, sometimes it can be changed. Sometimes now you are here, you are thinking about this understanding, but after you go home, if you don't think about it and if you don't meditate, then you are like a common person. You are like an ordinary person. You have no difference. That is why we have to practice to be permanent, this knowledge again and again, especially by practicing meditation. Yes?
Meditation, do you recommend do meditation like every day? Or
As much as you can.
But what time of the day that's better for meditate? Yes, in the morning.
Especially in the morning, it is a better time. Sometimes, some people, it is easy at night time. It depends on our behavior, our activities, our schedule. And not only doing sitting meditation. If you have this knowledge, when you drive, when you walk, when you work, you can reflect on these things. This meditation. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. When you work in your shop or your factory, if you think may all beings be well, happy and peaceful, while you are working, you can cultivate your mind. Please.
So, I think it's the same question. Once you become enlightened, you won't go back. You can lose it, correct? If you become enlightened or arahat, you can lose it again. You can lose it.
Yes. It is certain level. In the enlightenment, there are 4 steps. Sotapanna, the first step, according to Pali language. Sotapanna is the first level. And the second level is the Sakadagami. Next one is the Anagami. Arahant is the highest level. There are 4 steps. According to our understanding, there are 4 steps. Those 4 steps are certain. If we become Sotapanna, we can never go away that level. But under that level, any time we can be changed. But when we Sotapanna, it is certain. Again, when we go to Sakadagami, is it also certain? Anagami also like, Arahant also same. We never go back after these levels.
And then what do the different deeper stages of meditation do in regards to this, like Nimitta stage and jhanas, 8 jhana stages? How does that relate?
jhanas also are related to some kind of levels such as anagami, but first both levels it is not need to practice jhanas. But if we have jhanas, it is very easy to concentrate our mind with impermanence. But it is not compulsory up to anagami. But when we go into up anagami level, near the aranship, that level we may have at least one jhana. That is why after that person passed away, he goes to Brahma realm. But upper levels, it is not necessary, it is not compulsory to gain in jhanas. But however, if we have full concentration, it is very beneficial when we reflect on impermanence.
So what's the difference between the Sotapanna or the jhanas?
Yeah, jhana is impermanence. Anytime it can be changed. Without margaphala, without sotapanna like that, if we have jhana, anytime it can be changed.
So jhana is like a state of mind?
A state of some kind of concentration.
Oh.
Yeah, we can keep our mind for a long time with the same thoughts, same ideas, same attitude. Actually, it is developed not only by Buddhists. Before Buddha appeared in the world, there were some traditions who are in the other religions. They also practice this kind of some kind of meditation, and they practice tranquility. Even Reverend Devadatta, he also developed some kind of jhana and abhijna. He had some psychic energy. He had some kind of psychic energy, but because of no margaphala or no sotapanna, his all powers vanished. He lost his energy, psychic energy. That is why those things are impermanent. But if we can be permanent with margaphala, like such as sotapanna, then those jhanas don't go away. It is also same situation. Okay, little by little, when we discuss, your knowledge can be cleared. And we have to talk a lot in Buddhism. How much with the knowledge we have to practice it. At least 5 minutes, try to practice meditation. Little by little, day by day, try to increase it. Now, this week you practice 5 minutes. Next week you try to practice 6 minutes. Little by little try to develop it. That is your success. And also not only, as I mentioned, sitting meditation, try to meditate when you do other works. It's not disturb your other works. For example, when you do something in your home, you think many things in your life. While you are doing many things, while you are thinking many things in your life, you can do all things. When you drive, you think not only driving, you think a lot of things in your life when you drive. You can adjust, you can apply this message in your mind when you do other activities. If we have knowledge and mindfulness, that is the thing which help to bring this knowledge to your life. Okay, discipline and meditation. Meditation focus on mindfulness and wisdom. Mindfulness means keeping our mind with awareness of your body and mind. What happens to your body? What posture now you are sitting? What kind of attitudes that now you have in your mind? This is the way how do we develop our awareness or mindfulness. Mindfulness can be divided into 4. Buddha explained, mindfulness is the only way to get rid of suffering. Mindfulness is the only way to become liberation. Mindfulness is the only way to get rid of suffering. Mindfulness is the only way to achieve all kind of spiritual successes in your life. That mindfulness can be divided into four: the contemplation of your physical body, the contemplation of feelings, the contemplation of mental formations, contemplation of consciousness or mind. In short, it says the contemplation of your body and mind. Then, when we practice these teachings little by little, the special thing that we can see through our life, that the discipline of your speech, that is the very vast difference in our life, that we can reflect on our result. The reason is we have no time to talk rubbish because we are busy with mindfulness. When we are busy with mindfulness, we have no time to do some useless activities and words in our life. Because we are busy with mindfulness. We are busy with reflecting on impermanence. When some persons blame us, we reflect on it as impermanence. We don't get angry with them. We have no anger with them. When we have a bad experience in our life, that is the place where we practice our results. Don't worry. Don't neglect it. Don't avoid it. That is the very important place where we practice our results. When you have negative feelings through your senses, that is the very important place where you practice whether I have developed my mindfulness and impermanence. Be sure that is the place where you see the results.
So you reflect that.
If you are angry, when you have negative feelings, be sure at that time you have no mindfulness. Then, if you are not worried, if you are not angry, if you can see suddenly the impermanence, and if you can develop mindfulness when a person blames you, then you have overcome suffering. You have defeated the game. You have defeated the war. Buddhism says that listening to this message and practicing this message like sharpen your weapons for the war. This is the place, this is the period when you practice, when you sharpen your weapons for the fighting. Where the place, where is the battlefield? When negative feelings, negative thoughts come to your mind, when negative feelings come to your mind through your senses, that is the place where is the battlefield that you use those sharpened weapons. Be sure, be mindful when you have negative feelings. Don't forget to use your sharpened weapons. That is the very important place where you use the weapons that you sharpened hardly. Okay? Thank you so much for your coming, and we discussed a lot. Don't worry if you have no understanding. When we discuss again and again, our knowledge is going to be clear. Okay? Today we discuss about the message in short of all the Supreme Buddhas. Sabba papa sakaranam, not to do any evil. Kusala sopa sampada, do good. Sachitta paryodapanam, purify one's mind. Etang Buddha Hanusasana. This is the message all Buddhas who were in the world. First, we have to overcome some evils with good discipline and doing good, such as practicing generosity, morality, and meditation, and purify one's mind, practicing meditation, using concentration and insight meditation. We purify our mind again and again from negative ideas. Practice mindfulness and practice impermanence. Then little by little, we go forward on this path, which is eightfold path. Little by little, we are going forward, overcoming suffering in our day-to-day life. The results depends on how long you practice this message. The results depend on how many minutes, how many hours you practice this message in your day-to-day life. You are paid as your courage. The results depends on how much we practice, how long we practice this message in our day-to-day life. When we practice this message, discipline in our speech is very important. Discipline our food. When we eat something, that is also very important. Discipline in our food. Discipline in our sleeping. Those are also help for your success in this path. Okay, thank you for your coming again. When you read this article, you can improve your understanding. Now the time to transfer these merits for our beloved relatives who passed. Think about your beloved relatives who departed, who passed away. By doing these good activities, observing 5 precepts, and worshipping the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, by meditation, we practice, we generate our energy, our power, psychic power. With this meritorious power, may our departed relatives receive these merits, and may they receive good life, and finally may they attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our beloved relatives. Recite in the stanza in Pali. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may divine persons, guardian deities and angels receive these merits. Receiving these merits, may they keep their eye on you too. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to divine persons too. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadam Sambe deva anumodantu samba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadam Sambe deva anumodantu samba sampatti sindhya. Ettavata ca amhehi sambhatang punya sampadam Sambe deva anumodantu samba sampatti sindhya. By the power of all these merits that you accumulated in this moment, you may be well, happy and peaceful. No harm come to you, no problems come to you. You be successful everywhere, every moment. May all of us attain final final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May the Triple Gem bless you. Dukkham pantaca nindukkham, bhayam pantaca nimbhayam, sokam pantaca nissokam, antu sambe pipanino. Thank you so much for your coming.